When you're chosen, the world watches, not because they love you, but because they can't ignore you. Welcome, chosen ones. Do you feel it? The weight of their stares, the whispers behind your back, the constant tug of envy and curiosity wrapped in fake smiles. That's because you're not just walking among them, you're towering over them. And trust me, they hate it. You don't fit into their boxes, and that terrifies them. They see you, and they see what they'll never be. Let's get one thing straight. They're not watching you because they admire you. They're watching because they're threatened. Your light shines too bright for their dim existence. It blinds them, exposes their mediocrity, and forces them to confront the truth they've been running from. You were chosen, and they were not. And to you, yes, you, the chosen one, thank you. Whether this is your first time here, or you've been a steadfast force in this journey, your energy and super gifts are what keep this mission alive and thriving. You are the proof that being chosen isn't just a label, it's a destiny. If you're ready to step into the spotlight that life has placed on you, rise above the doubts and claim your strength like never before. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop the number 777 in the comments to show the world you're ready to turn their stares into your stage. Let's embrace what it means to be chosen and start building a legacy that no one can ignore. Let's dive in. Now, think of a phoenix rising from the ashes, magnificent, unstoppable, and unapologetic. While others settle for mediocrity, you soar above the smoke, leaving behind nothing but awe and jealousy in. When you're a diamond, they'll try to crush you. Not knowing your worth only increases under pressure. Welcome, chosen ones. Do you feel it? The weight of their stares, the whispers behind your back, the constant tug of envy and curiosity wrapped in fake smiles. That's because you're not just walking among them, you're towering over them. And trust me, they despise it. You're a mirror reflecting everything they'll never be, and that reflection burns. Let's be clear, they don't watch you out of admiration. They watch because they fear you. Your presence unsettles them. Your glow exposes their shadows. You move through life with the kind of energy that screams, "I don't need your validation," and that shakes their core. People fear what they cannot understand, and they hate what they cannot become. Think of a storm, powerful, unpredictable, and unstoppable. The trees may sway, the seas may churn, but the storm answers to no one. You are that storm. While they're scrambling for shelter, you're carving a path, leaving them in awe and disarray. And if they try to tear you down, remember this: a lion doesn't flinch when a pack of hyenas starts to circle. You were built to rise, and their bark will never stop your roar. Keep walking, chosen ones. Let them stare. Their fear is just proof of your greatness. And now, let's break it all down, step by step. Trust me, if you're truly one of the chosen, you'll feel it. The undeniable pull to stay with us until the very last word. This isn't just another message. It's a call meant for you. Number 1. The puzzle. They'll never solve, and it drives them crazy. Some people are open books, but you're the one book no one can read, no matter how hard they try. You're an enigma, a puzzle with pieces that constantly shift, making it impossible for anyone to truly pin you down. They see glimpses of who you are, and just when they think they've cracked the code, you reveal a new side, throwing them off balance. It's like trying to hold water in their hands. Fascinating to watch, but impossible to contain. Here's the thing, you're not doing this intentionally. You're not playing games or crafting some elaborate persona. You're just being you. Yet, your depth, your quiet confidence, and your unshakable sense of self make you stand out. You don't need to seek attention because attention finds you. And the harder they try to figure you out, the more frustrated they get, because you're not a puzzle for their amusement. You're a masterpiece that refuses to be simplified. Think about someone like Maya Angelou, who said, "I'm a woman, phenomenal woman, that's me." She didn't need to explain her greatness. It radiated from her presence. Or consider Bruce Lee, whose every move carried an energy so precise and enigmatic that people studied him endlessly, trying to replicate what came naturally to him. You're like that. The kind of person who leaves people asking questions long after you're gone, haunted by what they don't know. It's not your fault they're obsessed. While they waste their time trying to understand you, you're focused on your own path, your goals, your peace, your purpose. It's not a game to you. It's simply the way you are. You don't owe them answers and the mystery that surrounds you. It's just the result of living authentically. But make no mistake, this mystery of yours is power. It's the reason they can't let go, the reason you're unforgettable. They'll never fully figure you out, and that burns them. They want to categorize you, box you in, explain you away, but you won't let them. You're always a step ahead, leaving them intrigued, captivated, and, let's be honest, a little obsessed. And that's exactly how it should be. Keep them guessing. Let them chase shadows while you continue to shine. Number 2. They're waiting for your fall while you keep climbing higher. There's a quiet crowd out there, watching you closely. Not to cheer you on, but to catch the moment you stumble. They might not admit it, but deep down, they're hoping for your fall. Why? Because your rise shines too brightly on their own stagnation. It's easier for them to see you fail than to face the harsh truth of their own lack of progress. But here's where you turn their expectations into ashes. Every time life throws you down, you rise. Not just back to where you were, but higher. Think of the phoenix, reborn from its ashes, not once but endlessly. That's you. While others see failure as the end, you see it as fuel. Each roadblock you face doesn't just stop you temporarily, it sharpens you. And this isn't luck. It's an unshakable choice to grow from everything life throws your way. The harder the challenge, the stronger you return, and your resilience shakes them to their core. Because while they're still making excuses, you've turned setbacks into stepping stones. When people see your comebacks, it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. You're living proof that failure isn't the final chapter. It's just a plot twist in a bigger story. And every time you climb higher, it chips away at the comfort zone they've been clinging to. Your ability to rise makes them question if maybe, just maybe, they've been settling for less than they're capable of. This is why all eyes are on you now. They've bet on your failure, but instead, they're witnessing your evolution. Your persistence reminds them of their own unfulfilled potential, and that's a mirror many people don't want to face. They might mask their envy in subtle comments or outright silence, but their frustration is loud in their minds. You've shown them that there's no excuse for staying stuck, and that realization stings. Imagine a skyscraper under construction. People stop and stare, wondering if it will ever reach its full height, sometimes even hoping it won't. But as the building rises, defying storms and setbacks, those same people can't look away. They're forced to watch something extraordinary take shape. That's you, an unstoppable force rising beyond the limits they've placed on you in their minds. Let them expect you to fall. Let them project their fears and doubts onto you. Because each time you rise, you prove a truth they can't deny. Resilience is the weapon of the chosen ones. And while they wait for your failure, you'll continue climbing, reaching heights they never dared to imagine. You are not just rising, you are redefining what it means to be unstoppable. And that's why all eyes are on you. Number 3. Running a race only. They're competing in. You don't compete because you've never needed to, yet somehow others can't help but feel the urge to outdo you, as if beating you would validate their own existence. It's almost laughable. They're running a race, huffing and puffing, glancing over their shoulder at you, and you're not even on the track. You've never been interested in competing because your purpose isn't tied to anyone else's scoreboard. Your goals come from a deeper place, far removed from their petty games. Here's the twist that drives them mad. When they flaunt their so-called victories, expecting you to feel inferior or jealous, you don't even flinch. It's not because you're unaware, it's because their antics are nothing more than background noise to you. While they're trying to impress you with their trophies and titles, you're building empires. And that's the part they can't stand. The more they try to drag you into their competition, the less interested you become. Think of it like this. They're birds squabbling over breadcrumbs, while you're a soaring eagle with your eyes set on the horizon. Your indifference to their games makes them question themselves. Without your participation, their so-called victories feel empty, like winning a one-sided match against an opponent who never even showed up. They thrive on comparison, but you've removed yourself from their framework entirely, and that is a power move they can't counter. Your energy is like a mountain, immovable, unshakable, and indifferent to the storm raging around it. They can shout, throw stones, or try to climb, but the mountain doesn't respond. This steadiness is what makes you so intimidating. They crave your reaction because without it, they're left with nothing but their insecurities. And yet, their obsession with competing against you only highlights your strength. After all, no one tries to outdo someone they don't see as superior. Remember, this isn't just a game for them, it's survival. By refusing to engage, you strip them of the satisfaction they're so desperate for. They want to pull you into their chaotic little world, but you've built a fortress of focus and purpose that keeps them out. And while they waste their energy trying to prove themselves, you quietly keep moving forward, achieving things they'll never understand. This is what it means to be chosen. You don't play by their rules because you're operating on a higher level. Let them exhaust themselves chasing shadows, competing with someone who isn't even paying attention. Your indifference is your power, and their obsession is their prison. While they're consumed with proving themselves, you're too busy becoming the best version of yourself. Let them compete. You've already won. Number 4. An open book with hidden chapters, and it drives them mad. You're the type of person who walks into a room and leaves people intrigued, frustrated, and captivated all at once. Why? Because they can't read you. While most people lay their cards on the table in the hopes of building connection or gaining trust, you keep yours close to your chest, not out of fear, but out of intention. You've mastered the art of mystery, not by trying to confuse people, but by valuing your privacy and understanding its power. Here's the thing, most people are used to figuring others out. They thrive on patterns, assumptions, and control. With you, those tools fail spectacularly. They try to categorize you, to fit you into their mental boxes, but every time they think they've got you figured out, you reveal just enough to shake their conclusions. It's like trying to read a book where the most important chapters are missing, and no matter how much they search, they can't find the pages. This unpredictability isn't a weakness. It's one of your greatest strengths. People are unsettled when they don't know what to expect. It throws them off balance, makes them question their approach, and forces them to stay on edge. They're left wondering, what's their next move? What are they really thinking? And while they're tangled up in these questions, you remain calm, unbothered, and always a step ahead. Think of a chess master sitting across the board from an overconfident opponent. The other player fidgets, tries to read the master's intentions, and second-guesses every move. But the master, silent, calculated, always in control. That's you. You don't reveal your hand because you don't have to. Your power lies in their uncertainty, in their inability to pin you down. Take someone like Heath Ledger's Joker, who famously said, "You can't kill what you can't understand." While you may not be a villain, the sentiment rings true. People fear what they can't figure out. Your silence, your control over what you reveal and when. It's not just frustrating to them, it's intimidating. They're so used to people spilling everything for the sake of validation that your restraint feels like rebellion. What they don't realize is that your reserved nature isn't about being distant. It's about preserving your energy. You've learned that not everyone deserves access to your inner world, and by controlling what you share, you hold on to your power. Every time they reach for answers and come up empty, they're reminded that you operate on a different wavelength. You're not a puzzle to be solved. You're a masterpiece to be admired from a distance. So let them wonder, let them overthink and obsess. While they're lost in their attempts to understand you, you're free to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your growth, and your chosen path. They'll never catch up, and that's exactly how it should be. After all, mystery isn't just who you are, it's your superpower. Number 5. A flame. They can't extinguish, burning with purpose. There's something about you that people notice the moment you enter the room. It's not loud, flashy, or announced with words. It's an energy, a quiet but undeniable presence. It's the kind of force that people can feel before they even fully realize you're there. And it's not just confidence, it's something much deeper, something they can't quite name: the gravity of purpose. Most people wander through life reacting to whatever comes their way. They chase trends, meet surface-level expectations, and call it a day. But you move differently. Every step you take, every choice you make seems rooted in something far greater, a mission they can't see but can't help but feel. This difference doesn't just make you stand out, it makes them uncomfortable. Your existence is a mirror, reflecting the aimlessness in their own lives. And that reflection, it stings. You're not just living, you're creating, shaping, and pushing towards something meaningful. It's as if you have a map etched into your soul, and while others are spinning in circles, you're steadily heading toward a destination they'll never reach. This clarity unnerves them. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. You're tuned into a frequency that most people don't even know exists, and that makes them feel small, lost, and out of place in your presence. Imagine a lighthouse standing tall against a stormy sea, its light cutting through the chaos. That's you. The ships lost in the dark may envy the lighthouse's unyielding purpose, but they also depend on it. Your groundedness becomes a beacon, whether they admit it or not. Some are drawn to your energy, inspired by your focus, while others resent it because it highlights everything they lack. Think of greats like Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "You don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step." His purpose wasn't a boast, it was a force that moved nations. Or someone like Elon Musk, whose unrelenting focus on innovation has reshaped industries. People may not always understand such depth, but they can't ignore it. Just like them, you're not here to simply exist. You're here to leave a mark, and that's something they can sense from the very first moment. This is why they watch you, why they can't look away. It's not just fascination. It's an unspoken realization that you're operating on a level they can't touch. Your purpose is a fire that burns steadily, unshaken by the winds of distraction or doubt. Let them feel unsettled. Let them wonder, question, and envy. You were chosen for a reason, and their inability to grasp your depth is just further proof of how far ahead you truly are. While they stand frozen, you'll keep moving, driven by a force they'll never fully understand. Keep shining. They can't extinguish a flame they'll never reach. Number 6. The eye of the storm. They'll never understand. When chaos erupts, most people crumble. They panic, lash out, or let stress consume them. But you're different. When the world feels like it's falling apart, you stand there with a calm that feels almost supernatural. It's not that you're untouched by pressure, it's that you've mastered it. While others spiral into emotional storms, you remain the stillness at the center, watching the chaos unfold as if it's a distant movie you've seen before. Your composure isn't just rare, it's unsettling. People are used to seeing stress leave marks, cracks in confidence, frantic decisions, or obvious frustration. With you, there are no cracks. You move through adversity with a quiet power that makes people wonder, what does this person know that I don't? It's as though you're tuned into a frequency they can't access, one that allows you to step back, assess, and respond with precision rather than reaction. Think of historical figures like Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, yet emerged with the strength to unify a divided nation. Or consider Serena Williams, who stays laser-focused on the court, no matter how loud the world gets around her. Their calm under immense pressure wasn't accidental. It was forged in the fires of struggle, much like yours. People see your resilience and mistake it for natural talent, never realizing the battles you fought to build it. What truly baffles them is that your calm isn't performative. You're not pretending to be unshaken. You are unshaken. This kind of presence leaves others feeling exposed. While they're scrambling to hold it together, you exude a quiet confidence that highlights their own fragility. They may not say it out loud, but they're intimidated. Your ability to stay grounded in the face of pressure makes them question themselves. Why can't I do that? What makes them so unbreakable? But here's what they don't understand. This calm wasn't handed to you. It's not a gift. It's a skill earned through pain, perseverance, and countless moments when you had to find peace in chaos because there was no other choice. You've been to the brink and back, and instead of breaking, you built a foundation so solid that no storm can shake it now. This is what they'll never comprehend. The calm you radiate is born from the kind of resilience they can't imagine. Your presence is like the eye of a storm, serene and steady, while everything around you rages. They're drawn to it, yet it unnerves them because it exposes their own inability to cope. And that's the beauty of being chosen. Your unshakable calm isn't just a strength. It's a mirror that reflects their weaknesses. So let them wonder, let them envy, and let them watch. You're not here to explain your calm. You're here to embody it. Number 7. The silent thunder that commands the room. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to fight for attention because your presence speaks volumes. While others scramble to be noticed, chasing the fleeting glow of the spotlight, you carry a quiet power that demands something far more lasting: respect. It's not about approval or applause for you. It's about staying true to yourself, and that authenticity sets you leagues apart. This isn't the kind of respect that's handed out lightly. It's earned simply by being. People feel it when you walk into a room, the weight of your energy, the unshakable calm that surrounds you. It's like standing before a mountain or watching a storm gather on the horizon. They may not fully understand what they're feeling, but they know they're in the presence of something extraordinary. That's what makes you unforgettable. Think about icons like Nelson Mandela, whose quiet resilience shook entire nations. He didn't demand attention. His mere presence carried the weight of his convictions. Or take someone like Malala Yousafzai, whose courage and grace speak louder than any speech ever could. These are the people who move mountains without raising their voices. And you? You have that same undeniable aura. Your quiet authority does more than inspire, it unsettles. Why? Because it makes people question themselves. In a world where so many wear masks and put on performances, your authenticity is a mirror that reflects their own insecurities. When they see how comfortable you are in your own skin, they can't help but wonder if they're truly comfortable in theirs. And that discomfort, that's what makes your presence unforgettable. It's not just about how you carry yourself, it's about why. You're not here to impress anyone. You're here to grow, to evolve, to fulfill a purpose that's bigger than anyone else's opinion of you. This unwavering sense of self is rare, and it's why people can't stop thinking about you long after you're gone. You're not just another face in the crowd. You're the force they can't ignore. What's most striking is that you don't even try to command this respect. It's not a performance, it's who you are. You don't demand attention, but you still get it. You don't seek approval, but it's given anyway. This is what separates the chosen ones from the rest. While others chase the fleeting and the shallow, you stand firm in the deep and the timeless. So keep walking your path. Let them be drawn to your strength, inspired by your authenticity, and unsettled by your power. You are the silent thunder that commands the room, not with noise, but with undeniable presence. And that, chosen one, is a power few will ever understand. Number 8. Stripping the masks they cling to. You walk into a room and the air changes, not because you're trying to dominate or prove anything, but because your authenticity is like a floodlight in a world full of shadows. People wear masks to hide their insecurities, to blend in, to shield their fears. But in your presence, those masks feel unbearably heavy. Without even trying, you force them to confront the illusions they've carefully crafted. And that's where the discomfort begins. Your sincerity isn't just refreshing, it's disarming. While they rely on small talk, charm, and rehearsed personas, you move through life with a rawness that doesn't need embellishment. You don't play the game, and that's precisely why you can't be played. The walls they've spent years building to protect their insecurities crumble when faced with someone who has no need for facades. It's as if your mere presence whispers, "I see you," not who you pretend to be, but who you really are. For some, this is liberating. They're drawn to you, craving the rare sense of connection that only authenticity can provide. Being around you feels like exhaling after holding their breath for too long. But for others, it's terrifying. They cling to their masks like armor, and your genuineness exposes the cracks in that armor. Suddenly, their polished image, their charm, their practiced words, all of it feels hollow. They sense that none of it holds any power over you, and that realization shakes them to their core. Think of a mirror. It doesn't lie, it doesn't flatter, and it doesn't judge. It simply reflects what is. That's what you are to people, a mirror they can't avoid. And while some will appreciate the clarity you bring, others will find it unbearable. They see in you what they wish they could be, real, confident, and free from the weight of pretending. But instead of embracing that truth, many will feel defensive, even threatened, by the light you shine on their shadows. Here's what makes your presence even more profound. You're not doing this to judge or expose anyone. You're just being yourself. Your comfort in your own skin naturally amplifies their discomfort in theirs. You're not tearing their masks off. They're realizing on their own that those masks are unnecessary when they're around you. And that's what sets you apart. You don't demand authenticity, you inspire it. But don't be surprised when your ability to expose the truth triggers some people. The same light that reveals beauty also reveals flaws, and not everyone is ready to face their reflection. Some will retreat, some will lash out, and some will try to diminish you in an attempt to feel less vulnerable. Let them. It's not your burden to carry their discomfort. You were chosen to shine, and in doing so, you challenge the world around you to be real, or to break under the weight of its own pretense. Number 9, breaking their chains before they even lock them. When people try to control you, they're not prepared for what happens next. They expect resistance, arguments, or at least a reaction. But instead, you meet their attempts with calm detachment, and something they never anticipated. You simply walk away. No fights, no drama, no games. This move is like a mirror, reflecting their powerlessness back at them. They wanted dominance, but instead, they're left grappling with the realization that they can't hold you, not even for a second. Those who thrive on control live for the struggle. They feed on the back and forth, the push and pull. Even resistance feels like engagement to them. It keeps their illusion of power alive. But you rob them of that satisfaction. By refusing to play their game, you send a loud and clear message. Your peace is untouchable, your freedom is non-negotiable, and their need for control is irrelevant. Think about it. A bird in a cage only sings because it believes escape is impossible. But when you're the chosen one, you're the kind of bird that doesn't even acknowledge the cage. The moment they try to trap you, you take flight. This ability to leave without hesitation shatters their illusions. They might hold power over others, but over you, they're left grasping at thin air. This unnerves them more than any resistance ever could. They can't figure out how to control someone who won't engage. The tighter they try to grip, the more their hands come up empty. And that's where your true strength lies, not in fighting their attempts, but in rising above them. You're a river that refuses to be dammed, flowing wherever you choose, carving your own path, and leaving behind those who tried to block your way. Your willingness to walk away isn't just an act of defiance, it's a declaration of self-worth. You're showing them that your peace, your freedom, and your boundaries are not up for negotiation. This terrifies them because it's a kind of power they don't understand, a power rooted in detachment, not domination. The truth is, control is only effective if the other person stays. When you refuse to stay tethered to their manipulation, they're left powerless, exposed, and deeply unsettled. They wanted to trap you, but instead they ended up trapping themselves in their own need for dominance. This is why you're unforgettable. You don't let anyone hold you in a space that doesn't respect your boundaries or your soul. Your ability to walk away without fear or hesitation is what sets you apart. While they're stuck playing mind games, you've already moved on to a higher plane, untouchable and unstoppable. That's what it means to be chosen. Number 10. The iron hand in the velvet glove. They'll never fully grasp. You're not a fortress, nor are you a wide-open field. You exist in a space that is neither fully guarded nor completely exposed. A balance so rare, it unsettles those who encounter it. You carry both steel and silk within you, a strength that protects and a vulnerability that invites. This duality makes you unpredictable, impossible to categorize, and endlessly fascinating. People are used to extremes. They expect either walls they can't scale or complete openness they can exploit. But with you, they're constantly guessing. One moment, your compassion and understanding draw them in. The next, your firm boundaries remind them that your kindness is not to be mistaken for weakness. It's like holding a blade with a polished handle, beautiful to admire, but deadly when underestimated. What truly unnerves them is your ability to control when and how you show each side. Vulnerability isn't a weakness to you, it's a choice. You've mastered the art of revealing your true self only to those who have earned it. This kind of self-trust is rare, and it makes you untouchable. When you choose to open up, it's genuine, not a result of manipulation or pressure. And when you draw the line, it's firm, resolute, and unshakable. They can't predict you because your actions are based on what you decide, not what they expect. Think of a great warrior, one who doesn't fight every battle, but knows exactly when to unsheathe their sword. This is you. Your strength isn't about constantly being impenetrable, and your vulnerability isn't about being naive. You've learned that resilience lies in balance, knowing when to stand tall and when to let yourself bend without breaking. This confuses people because it defies their limited understanding of what power looks like. It's not just about strength or vulnerability, it's about how you wield both. When they see your empathetic side, they mistake it for an invitation to overstep. But when they try, they're met with the unyielding truth of your boundaries. This back and forth leaves them spinning, unsure of how to approach you, and completely unable to manipulate you. You don't play by their rules, and that makes you the wild card they can't control. This balance of opposites, softness and strength, openness and guardedness, is why you're unforgettable. People can't decide whether to admire you, envy you, or fear you. And that's precisely the point. You are the unpredictable force they'll never tame, a living reminder that true power lies in owning every part of yourself. Let them wonder, let them guess. Their confusion is just another testament to your strength. Number 11. Unshaken by applause, untouched by criticism. In a world where validation has become the currency of self-worth, you've opted out of the system entirely. While others scramble for likes, compliments, and approval like beggars chasing coins, you stand steady, unmoved by their fleeting judgments. You don't need their applause to feel worthy, and you don't crumble under their criticism. This independence doesn't just set you apart, it baffles and unnerves them. Your confidence is built on bedrock, not sand. It comes from within, rooted in a self-awareness so strong that the opinions of others, whether glowing praise or sharp disapproval, barely register. To them, this is alien. They can't fathom how you remain whole without the constant drip of external validation to keep you going. It forces them to question themselves, to wonder why your sense of worth seems immune to the system they're trapped in. And that's where the tension lies. People thrive on their ability to influence others, to make them feel good or bad with a word or a look. But with you, their power stops cold. They try to bait you, subtle digs, exaggerated praise, passive-aggressive comments, all in hopes of seeing you flinch, react, or seek their approval. But you don't bite. You're too grounded, too free to be pulled into their web. And that, in their eyes, makes you both a mystery and a threat. Think of an oak tree standing tall in the storm. The winds howl, the rain lashes, yet the tree remains unshaken. Others are leaves, tossed about by every gust of opinion, while you stay rooted in your truth. This steadiness is magnetic. It draws people in, even as it unsettles them. They can't help but admire the freedom you exude, the self-sufficiency they secretly wish they had. Your refusal to seek validation creates a mirror for those around you. They see their own insecurities reflected back, their need to be liked, their craving for acknowledgement, their dependence on the approval of others to feel whole. It's not that they hate you for it, it's that you remind them of the freedom they don't yet have. They admire it, yes, but they also resent it because it highlights the chains they're still wearing. This is your power, the ability to walk through a world obsessed with external recognition and remain untouched by it. You don't just live, you thrive on your own terms, and while they may not understand it, they can't ignore it. That unshakable independence, it's why all eyes are on you. You're not playing their game, and that's what makes you chosen. Let them wonder. Let them question. You owe them nothing, and that's what makes you unstoppable. Number 12. Your presence is the mirror they fear to face. When you walk into a room, the energy shifts, and it's not because you're trying to make an entrance. It's because you are the entrance, the turning point where people are forced to see themselves in ways they'd rather not. You don't have to say a word or lift a finger. Your mere presence becomes a mirror that strips away illusions and reflects both their light and their shadows. And for many, that reflection is something they're not ready to face. To some, you're a reminder of what they could be if they had the courage to step into their authenticity. They see your clarity, your unwavering sense of self, and they admire it, maybe even crave it. But for others, your presence is a confrontation. It lays bare the insecurities they've spent years trying to hide. Their carefully constructed masks slip when you're around because your authenticity exposes their artifice. Think of it like this. You're a lighthouse in a storm, illuminating the path for those willing to find their way, but also revealing the chaos for those still lost at sea. It's not your job to guide them, yet your light makes them aware of every wave threatening to capsize their ship. And that's the beauty and the burden of being chosen. You didn't ask for this role, but your very existence challenges the status quo and forces people to question the lives they've built. For some, this spark leads to transformation. They start peeling back their layers, inspired by the way you stand unapologetically in your truth. But for others, it triggers envy and resentment. They can't bear the clarity you bring because it magnifies their own confusion. They'll project their discomfort onto you, trying to dim your light so they don't have to confront their darkness. But no matter how much they try, they can't ignore you. You've already left a mark, a ripple they can't undo. What makes this even more powerful is that you're not trying to change anyone. You're simply being yourself, authentic, grounded, and unshakable. That alone is revolutionary. In a world full of masks, your realness is a quiet rebellion. It forces people to stop, to think, to question. And whether they love you or loathe you, they cannot remain unchanged in your presence. This is the essence of being chosen. It's not about validation, fame, or recognition. It's about impact, raw, undeniable, and often uncomfortable. You compel others to see truths they'd rather avoid, to step outside their comfort zones, and to reconsider who they are. So, keep walking your path. Keep being unapologetically you. Their reactions, whether admiration, envy, or fear, are not your burden. Your power lies in your authenticity, and your presence alone is enough to shake the foundation of those around you. Let them adjust to your light. You were never meant to dim it. In the end, here's the truth. Being a chosen one isn't about proving yourself to others. It's about standing firm in who you are, no matter how uncomfortable it makes them. Your presence challenges, inspires, and transforms, whether they admit it or not. Let them watch, let them question, and let them struggle to keep up, because your path is yours alone. If you're ready to fully embrace your calling and claim the power that's always been yours, smash that like button, hit subscribe, drop 777 in the comments, and share this message. Stay unstoppable, chosen ones. The world is watching.